Hello, my name is Mahmoud from Zflow, and welcome to the third video where we will show you how to build dynamic forms or dynamic data into the forms depending on when the user clicks the link. This sounds a bit too technical, but it has so many benefits for different kinds of use cases, especially if your CRM data changes, if your database changes, and it needs to be reflected on the form. Accordingly, another use case might be the time the user clicks on the link, whether it's daytime, nighttime, which we will tackle in this video, this use case. Make sure to check out our previous videos on our website, zflow.de, on our training page. So let's go ahead and check out our automation for the day, where we will use two tools, my favorite tools, n8n and Tally, the form builder. As you can see, first, let's check out Tally. So we have 3 hidden fields, and we've shown in the previous video how we fill these hidden fields, and we'll show it again in this video briefly. We reference the dynamic title, and we have these 2 hidden. By clicking here on these 6 dots, you hide, show the block of questions and answers. So here they are hidden, and they will be shown according to what we pass depending on the time of the day. So this, for example, here, using this conditional block, show question number 1, if this hidden field is yes, then this block will be shown. If show question 2 is yes, then the other hidden block will be shown. Conditional block in Tally, it's just by clicking on plus, conditional logic, insert it, and then choose whether it's an input field or hidden field. We choose, and then we choose what the we choose what the action is. There are multiple actions for today. We're just gonna see the show blocks. Yep. So as for n8n, the idea here is different. Usually we send the form link to the customer. This time we're going to send a webhook link to the customer that triggers our automation and redirects the customer to the generated form link. Why is this very valuable? Because this means that they'll get an updated link. Let's say instead of this switch function here, we had an Airtable node, and it had different types of data that changes through the time. For example, a car got picked up, so the form might change, or the form behavior might change, for example, and we need to pass that to the form. The car was delivered, so it's another scenario, etc. Here we're going to use the time of day. So let's say we have a night shift and a morning shift, of course, and according to that, we're going to construct the redirection link for the customer. How do we do this? So here we have a switch function, and we compare which statement is true. For here, let me show you how we extract the current hour of day in order to know if it's daytime or nighttime. First of all, we write double curly brackets, so we can write JavaScript inside of n8n, and then we choose now, $sign now, which returns the current date time. If I may go back, I think it's a good habit for us to always just write $sign, for example, and then read on the right side what the function does. This helps us a lot. It's a really good habit to have, especially if we don't know sometimes a certain function before, or what does it do, how its syntax is. So now returns the current date time. We click on, we type dot, and then I go into the same thing. And if we don't know, we can just go ahead and think, oh, extract, and it says unit, as you can see here, and the unit says month. The example parameters we have, it tells us the part of the date or time to return, one of year, month, week, day, hour, etc. So we know that we want to extract the hour because it will tell us if it's daytime, which kind of shift essentially it is. So extract between quotation marks hour, and it returns 14. Now, so we grabbed this part, we injected it here, and first we're comparing it that it's bigger than 8, essentially AM. 2 and symbols mean and. here, as in this statement must be true and this statement must be true, and that is less than 6 p.m. If this statement is true, we have our daytime route. And if the other statement, which is essentially bigger or equal to 6 p.m., because when it reaches 12 p.m., we don't want to use it anymore. So when it's bigger than 6 p.m. until 11:59, technically speaking, it's nighttime here for us. And accordingly, we will respond to the webhook. It's essential that we use this respond using respond to webhook node with, first of all, response code 307. This is important for redirection, and response with redirect, where we construct the redirect URL accordingly. Let's say you want to pass different Airtable data, you pass it here. And this is where we pass also the parameters. So as you can see on the end result of the URL, we have a question mark. And the question mark means these are the query parameters, which technically means that what comes after it will be filled here in the hidden fields. So as you can see, we have question mark dynamic title equals the title, and the show question number 1 equals yes because it's daytime, and show question number 2 equals no because it's nighttime. What is also important here is to use the URL encode function. Why is that? Because if we grab this URL here, and instead of this %20 we have a space, it will fail when we try to open it. And why is that? It's because each URL has its own, the URL has its own encoding. Space, for example, equals %20. We don't need to memorize that. So what we do is we concatenate the static part, which is this part, with a plus sign, with our title, as you can see here. So, and then we follow it with a .url encode function. It's important that we put these parentheses here because it's a function, and then it will be URL encoded. Then, of course, the other ones do not need URL encoding as they have no special characters, no spaces, etc. So let's see this in practice. In practice, I simulated that we had sent an email to all the employees, for example, to fill out this form, and we sent it 100 days ago. It doesn't matter. They can always come back to this link, or for example, it's a QR code that they have and they always scan the same QR code. No need to generate multiple QR codes for each different form. So inside of this hyperlink, let me show you what we have. We have the webhook part here. We have this production URL. And it's important that it's a get, by the way, here, because they're going to open it from their browser. So when we click on form, perfect. It says daytime form. Please type your name, of course, and what happened during the morning. So as I can't control the time of the day, I will just, in order to show you the other use case, I will switch the condition. So instead of true, this needs to be false, and Boolean here also needs to be false. Save. And let's try filling the form again, nighttime form. So as you can see, this sounds very simple, but it has so many benefits and it has so many use cases that we can use it for. It can get really complicated with how we pass the information, which is why it's very important to do always process mapping before going into such automations. I do recommend that. And that is why I also recommend that you attend Zflow's n8n foundations, where we will talk about all the basics, all the foundations, in order to automate in a smarter way and understand the logic behind your automations. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video.